So it's funny because we've literally been in the same room making out with other people.
Welcome back to the Neely Fam channel. We have some interesting stories to tell you guys because there's a lot between us over the last, 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we are going to tell you guys the story of how we met. How we met and fell in love. So let's just get right into it. So one night I'm going to this little Utah dance party at this warehouse. Me and my friend Taylor. We go to this party together, ended it at midnight. And we're getting into my car, and she's like, I want to see if there's any after parties. And so I was like, all right, I don't feel like getting out of the car, though, so I'll wait here while she went in with another girl. And she came back, and she's like, okay, I found this after party. And at this point, I was like, I'm already tired. Like, my son's at home sleeping with my mom was watching him. And I actually had a little bit of a curfew when I was a single mom because my mom was very worried.
You put a curfew on Macy.
Yes, my mom was very worried that I was up to no good since I've had a baby. So I had a 1 o'clock curfew, so I had to get back anyway. So I was like, it's not worth it. I'm just going to go home. The next morning, me and Taylor, we had a tennis practice. And at this tennis practice, she's from Australia. She was like, I met the hottest guy last night. And I was like, you did? So she's like giving me the tea while we're at tennis practice. And she's like, I'm going to go meet him again tonight. But she's super shy. So she's like, I don't want to go alone. Will you come with me? So I said, sure, because I am just the best wing woman. We go to meet Jacob. I remember the first time I saw you. It's this building in Provo, basically. And I remember we walk in, and Jacob was wearing a black leather jacket, and maybe it's because I'm a Vampire Diaries fan, and I love when guys wear all black. But I was like, she wasn't wrong. This guy is hot. Taylor met my husband first, and kissed him before I did.
Yeah. We also went on a double date with different people.
Okay, but we're getting too far ahead of ourselves.
The first time I saw Macy, and first time we talked, I thought, wow, this girl is gorgeous and stunning. And as we just kept talking, I got to know her personality more, and I felt like we were on the same level of personality, the way we talk. Being from California, we were talking about a few things down in SoCal, and I don't know, I think those are the biggest indicators. I was like, oh wow, Macy's really cool. Because we just had a fun conversation. She was super talkative, really witty and funny, and then I know. There was just an instant connection. I think we've all had that feeling before. So that was something that I thought of and I had in my back pocket for the next month or two while we were friends.
I don't know, because I don't know. Did you ever see me as someone you would maybe date in the future, or were you still just
at the time I could probably see it, but I was.
But you weren't thinking about it because you were
not as much.
Because he was talking to Taylor,
and you were also talking to the guy we went on a double date with. So.
Yeah. Which was
an old high school boyfriend of yours.
Yeah, it was an old high school boyfriend that had come back from his mission.
A week later, we go on a double date. It's fun the whole time, but it's just we're enjoying each other's company, and Macy has to drop me off, and I think it was just her and I in the car. You think that I didn't talk?
I feel like he wasn't super talkative. He was kind of quiet. This is so bad of me, but I remember on our date, I was not into the guy I was seeing anymore, and I was like, damn, why is Taylor at the hot date? And I don't.
You thought that? You thought that?
I did. Aww. And I was like, ugh. But I was like, good for her. I wasn't trying to swoop. And he wasn't trying to do that.
Homie hopper.
Yeah. At the end of that semester, Jacob and my friend Taylor were still hanging out. It's been a few weeks. I'm still kind of seeing that guy. So it's my friend's birthday, so I decided to throw her a little surprise birthday. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted Jacob to come. And since they were kind of talking and stuff, I literally started texting Jacob. I was like, hey, don't tell, Taylor doesn't know about the surprise. Make sure that, if she asks to hang out tonight, that you say that you're busy. Yeah. Or something like that. And so,
you said be busy all day.
Yeah, I was be busy all day. Because I was, taking her out all day to, do stuff. And I knew she probably, wanted to hang out with him. So I wanted it to be, a surprise that Jacob was there. So I was literally, being a good friend.
A little matchmaker.
Yeah, a little matchmaker. So I throw her, a surprise birthday. Jacob's there. She's so excited. We had this, little birthday.
It was fun.
At the end, so funny, because I was kind of talking to this other guy. We're watching a scary movie, and we were at Sarah and Derek Beeson's house. We're at their house, and then Jacob and Taylor are making out on one couch. I'm making out with this other guy on this other couch, and then Sarah and Derek are on the floor. But Sarah fell asleep, so Derek was all mad because everyone's making out, and then it was just him. No, Sarah was asleep. Funny. Yeah, it was so funny. So it's funny because we've literally been in the same room making out with other people. The semester is about to end.
Yeah.
And this is me being a good friend, because now it sounds like I had like a weird intent, but I didn't. No. But Taylor was all like talking about how she like might become like official with Jacob when she really likes him, which I was like, okay, great, but like just so you know, like you're going back to Australia this summer and he's going to California. Like you guys are probably gonna talk for a week and then it's gonna fizzle out. I'm like, I guarantee you by 2 weeks after you leaving, you guys won't even really be talking anymore. And it wasn't because I was like, I'm gonna go after him. It was just because I was like trying to make it so she wasn't like upset or sad.
A month and a half into the summer, Macy texts me. Why is she texting me?
Oh, yeah.
She texts me out of the blue, because we didn't text or talk at all. And she just said, hey, what's up? I'm back in Orange County for the rest of the summer. Like what ward and church are you going to? Like, let's get together. It's kind of just casual, like friendly.
It was like, yeah, I'm like, here if you want to hang out or bring your guy friends over. Like your little pest control buddies. Because Jacob was selling pest control like 10, 15 minutes from my parents' house. And I already knew that going into the summer.
Yeah.
And all my friends in college never went home for the summer. So I literally didn't have like one girlfriend.
We ended up going to church, like hanging out. And for like a straight month, we were just the bestest of friends, right? Wasn't it about a month?
Yeah, it's funny because we were hanging out just as friends. I wouldn't say there's not a romantic connection, but like we didn't flirt, like nothing.
So when we started hanging out in the summer in Orange County, I don't know, Taylor told me about Macy because they were like best friends. So she was telling me like, oh yeah, like Macy got pregnant her, what was it, sophomore year? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so she has like this cute little boy. And so like I knew all these things about Macy, and when we were hanging out, I thought she was gorgeous and I thought she was super fun, but I thought where she was at in life and where I was at, I just was like, this friendship and I guess the ability to like hang out with someone that like I really enjoy was like too precious, kind of.
But it wasn't like anything romantic, I guess. Like, and he would come over and like I would put Hudson to sleep. I didn't want Hudson to be like, who's this guy this week? Okay, wait, who is that guy that used to come over and now this, you know what I mean? I never want that to happen, even if it was like guy friends, you know? Like he never saw Hudson. I never even talked about him at all. Like I assumed you knew, but like I didn't like talk about him, mainly because I feel like I was very protective of him.
Also like not wanting to hop from friend to friend, like, you know, like weeks later. So I just wasn't in a rush either to maybe like start dating. I think I was just like, that wasn't my focus. I do think it changed a little bit, like maybe like 3 weeks in, because we first started hanging out in Orange County and I would bring like some friends over. We'd all like go to the movies or we'd just hot tub. But I slowly just started coming over by myself.
Yeah, but I've never known why you came over by yourself. Like what was your thought process? Because it wasn't like you came over alone once, like every time you started coming over alone.
Yeah, it was like after like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what was I thinking. I guess I just started being able to see more like the possibility of us dating. Like in my head, I was like, I guess maybe understanding more about like who Macy is. So like in the beginning, like knowing that she has a son, like knowing like that I was recently dating her friend, like I just wasn't in like a mood to just like go and jump in, like try and make out with this gorgeous girl. But over time, after those like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I guess, when I started going over by myself was mainly because I just wanted to continue to build a relationship with you and I could kind of see myself dating you. But I think I just kept subconsciously going back and forth between like, why would I want to ruin it? But then it's like, well, you never know like what's going to happen. So yeah, I definitely wanted to kiss you. Like,
my parents kept asking if he had kissed. My mom was like, just look at his lips. Like, didn't you just want to kiss him? And I was like, Mom, stop. But I'm down. We started hanging out. Even when you're coming over with guy friends, I asked Taylor, I'm like, is it okay, like, me and Jacob were gonna hang out? And she said, no big deal. So I wasn't breaking girl code. And then, like, I would post Jacob in my stories sometimes. Like, it was kind of like my tactic to, like, get other guys, too. I have this whole dating scheme anyway.
She does.
I would put him on my story and stuff, so Taylor started seeing us together on my story. Like, she takes me out of the blue. She's like, this is so weird, but you guys would actually be a really cute couple. And then I was like, I think that's the green light.
Once I started to see more of like Macy and I got to see like who she was and how sweet she was and how good of a mom she was, I think that changed things for me to be like, this is clicking and like this is right. And so I think that's when my mind like switched and I like made the move and then we started like kissing. But
well, what happened was you like, I still wasn't bringing Hudson around to him. Like, we've been hanging out for like 2 months before he met Hudson. And even then, I wasn't even going to introduce him because Jacob invited himself to dinner with me and Hudson.
Macy texted me something. I did not even see that it was like a no text. Like, oh yeah, like I already have plans. I literally was just like, oh wow, like yeah, that sounds awesome. Like I'm down. And I think you...
No, I think I said something too. I was like, yeah, but I'm with Hudson, so like I'll like let's... I didn't say let's hang out after I did, but the way I said it, I was like assuming he wouldn't invite himself. And then you were like, oh great, like I've always wanted to meet him. And I was like, that wasn't an invite. I had a crush on you. And so I was like, this can make things or break things. So I don't really want to see him with Hudson because if he's really good with Hudson, it's going to make me like him more. And, like, that's also another reason why I didn't bring guys around Hudson is because I'm like, if they're going to be really good with him or, like, pretend to be really good with him in front of my face, then it's going to make you like them more, right?
Yeah.
So, like, because it's, like, an attractive thing to see any guy with a baby. Staying at my sister's that night because my parents were out of town, so I had to go get clothes at my parents' house. And so I remember I had to go upstairs to get clothes, and I was like, can you watch him for a second while I run upstairs to get clothes? Because Hudson was only 10 months. So he was, like, little. Like, he couldn't be, like, left unattended. Mm-hmm. And so I think I came back downstairs, and Jacob's, like, all playing with him, like, on the carpet, like, playing. And I was like, don't do that. I, like, had the biggest crush on you. And that was the night we sat till, like, 4 a.m. talking and, like, watching movies. And you still didn't make the move. So I was like, damn.
No.
But this is how I think that you made the move. Because I still don't think you would have made the move unless I did this. So we went in the jacuzzi alone. And I was like, all right, I'm going to flirt. Like, because I never flirted with you either, because I was like, I don't want to be the one to cross that boundary. So I was like, tonight, I'm gonna flirt.
Did you also not see me as, like, a dateable? Can we go back a sec? There were a few things that I thought, like, we wouldn't work together, but, like, she's fun and, like, we could be good friends. I think Macy thought the same thing. I was not in school.
He wasn't in school.
I was enrolled for the semester.
And then I heard that you, like, so he made out with Taylor the first night he met her. And then when you were still, even though you guys were seeing each other, you made out with some other girl. Taylor saw you make out with another girl one night at this bonfire that she was at, and she was like pissed. And so I was like, this guy's an F-boy.
So I was also thinking about and was planning to go on a 2-year mission for our church.
The night that we finally kissed, I was like, you know what you suck at? I was like, you suck at texting. And he was like, what? Why? And I was like, well, number 1, you're slow at it. But then this is where I flirt. I was like, number 2, you never flirt with me. You're not flirty at all over text. You're so boring. And he was like, that's when I think it, like, clicked in your brain that I was, like, I was down. After that, he, like, in the jacuzzi, this is so weird. It almost felt weird to me because, like, we went from not touching at all to, like, Jacob, like, literally pulled me on his lap, like, on top of him. And I was like, this is escalating quickly. And then we made out that night. We did.
I can kiss you now.
Yeah. I want to make out now. This is, like, getting me too excited. We made out.
The night that changed everything.
And I remember that night thinking, like, I wonder what's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I honestly thought it was gonna be like a one-night thing. Like, I was like, yeah, that's like in my mind. So I told you I had those F-boy vibes. I was so excited because the next day he texted me and asked me out for dinner. Remember?
Don't you feel like the way that we were like dating though wasn't like, oh yeah, like it just like make out, like we were like investing in each other because we cared about each other.
Yeah.
So definitely from that point on, like obviously I cared about her. And I think that's what like made it switch so quick because I already knew so much about you and you've already opened up.
We were like friends first.
Yeah, and so I think
also you went from getting 5 sales a day to like the day after we kissed, you got 10 sales that day.
That's true.
He literally got 10 sales like every day after that. Like he was like on cloud 9. Then semester starts at school.
Yep.
And I didn't know what was gonna happen.
And I'm not in school, but I'm living in Provo. I spent the month of September in Japan visiting my brother and backpacking. Yeah. So I'm in Japan. During that time, we're texting and calling each other, like whatever the time of day lined up. Every single day. Yeah, every day. I knew that she cared about me at this point because when I went to hike Mount Fuji, she was like texting me being like, oh yeah, like have fun, like let me know when you're back. And I didn't text her back for like 24, 36 hours. Yeah. So she kept texting me saying like, hey, are you safe? Good? I knew she cared. And so when I got back from Japan, I was like, all right, I'm gonna wife this girl up now. I was like, I'm gonna date her. Like, I need to date her. She is mine. Like, we are perfect together. So I get back from Japan. We go on like a date or like 2, and then I immediately like pop the question.
He asked me to be his girlfriend.
And then she replied with,
let me think about it. So I just feel like I needed to have a little bit of a single season. So he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said, let me think about it. And I was really just hoping he wouldn't bring it up again. But 2 weeks later, he asked again. And I was like, I basically said no.